Reacting games give us a unique opportunity to teach leadership skills. They're often set at critical turning points in history and give us the chance to really kind of investigate those moments and how leaders respond to moments of crisis.
I co-teach a class on human rights, and we play a reacting game in there called The Needs of Others. And this is a game that takes us to 1994 and the United Nations and the horrible crisis that occurred in Rwanda during that year.
We all know that time as a period of major failure of leadership in the United Nations, but our students were unwilling to let that history be repeated.
Part of what makes it extraordinary is just how hard it is to move the United Nations and how hard it was particularly at the time. In 1994, at least 4 out of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council were dead set against intervention, and any one of them can veto the operation.
And then came Operation Sapphire, which I gathered all the information for and then presented.
We had a vote about setting up a intervention force, I'll call it, but it couldn't use like military action. It was just intervention, trying to stop what was happening without putting boots on the ground.
And I really wanted this, so I talked to the Human Rights Watch leader, Alison DeForges.
Coming from Human Rights Watch, this was the weakest intervention that we could have possibly sent, but it was the one that everyone could agree with.
The intervention that was being voted on was to set up zones for refugees. So we were going to say we can send these troops to protect these refugees. And then we were going to try the vote at the next meeting about expanding that mandate.
And so the Secretary General had talked about the fact that we could move to Article 41.
So we were trying to kind of slow crawl our way into military intervention.
One of the most difficult elements of leadership is coalition building, especially when you're trying to bring groups of people together, often with wildly divergent points of view.
I would have 2 meetings a day with someone from ICRC, and then I'll meet with Nigeria later, and then I'll meet with New Zealand in the morning, and then maybe I'll talk to Allison a little bit, and then maybe Allison thinks I'm suspicious and doesn't like me, so she's not replying my messages, so I have to message someone and say, hey, tell Allison to message me back.
We oftentimes teach leadership as process or leadership as a certain set of traits, but really that's secondary. What distinguishes good leaders is their ability to work, and really what made Operation Sapphire a success was the work that the students put into it.
Bush's Gali, she would come and have her arguments laid out perfectly well.
We went through the whole agenda. I knew everything that was going to happen. We knew that there was going to be a private session call.
And I was like, wow, this is really well pitched. It was really well written.
Right before, I had spoken with Bush's Gali, and she was telling me, you have to make sure we want to get whatever is the best outcome for as many people as possible. And so because of that, we need you to be a team player, and we need you to vote for this, for us to advance the mission.
We thought that everything was good. We addressed all the concerns outside, in the hallway.
The only way in the game for ambassadors to be compelled to vote in a certain way is because they have to respond to public opinion. And that role of public opinion is played by students in the game who are asked to do research into the tenor of public opinion in 1994, the mechanisms of public opinion in 1994, the way in which public opinion exerted influence on political leaders, so on and so forth.
In the final vote, in the final part of the class, both the US and EU popular opinion was called on.
And when the vote comes up, public opinion swayed the US, which was crucial. We knew we needed that, and we thought we had public opinion on our side. And then European public opinion,
we are not going to be forcing a vote,
was on our side, but decided not to influence the vote.
I thought it was a home run. And I had said to all my members of public opinion, because I told them, I was like, hey, everybody go meet with your ambassador right now. I got a lot of my ambassador's so in. And I said to Maria, I was like, yo, how do you feel about this? And she's like, yeah, this is perfect. And I was like, awesome. So we're not gonna force a vote. And she was like, okay, great.
So every nation was on board. And then when it came for the Major 5 to vote, the United States, France, China, and UK were on board.
And then Russia was the only one who was on her phone, and we thought, oh, she's gonna vote yes, I don't know.
When I first didn't raise my hands for being for the mission, people thought that I missed that. I was on my phone, so they were like, "Oh, did you miss the vote? You know, you should vote right now."
But then came the vote, and Russia vetoed.
And then the vote comes, and she vetoed it. She was the only person who vetoed it.
It was like in a movie. I think it was just like, what?
But then when they said all against and I raised my hand, everybody let out the biggest sigh I've heard in a long time.
So it does not pass.
I think everyone was just like, I thought we finally, got on one page, but it was just like, no.
It was our only chance, and just because European public opinion didn't control the vote, it didn't work.
Yeah, at the end of the game, all of the people who lost were like all frustrated, and we all like put the guilt and blamed Ed for this. He was not the responsible, but we're like, okay, it's your fault. Sorry.
As instructors, it was really difficult for us to sit back and watch our students put all of this time and effort into something like Operation Sapphire, only to see it fail in the end. But that's life.
It really was. It was obliterating to my staff, to the IC, to me.
We were so mad. Like, we talked to Ed after. We're like, what did you do? Because of this, because of you, millions of people will die. And
that was a tough day. That was a tough day for me because I was like, that was my fault.
that was the point. That was like why? Like everything was going fine.
And I remember that was probably the most angry I've ever been in a class in my entire life. I don't know if I've ever felt like that before in a class when she raised her hand no.
We were so mad. Like, even in real life, I was mad.
And it was one of those situations where you're not mad at the person for voting no, you understand why they do it.
It was hard, but I knew I had to do it.
Because obviously everyone's got their own goals and we're all just trying to win the game. So you're not mad at the person, you're mad at the character and the character's actions.
It was very much so like he said in class, like a frenemy. Like it's like, I want you to win, but I want to win too.
Oh, and then we lost.